Hello, everybody. Today we have a really cool set of guests coming on live. They're SaunaSpace affiliates, and they're super special people. Their names are Timmy and Kimmy. They're based in Austin, and we're going to get them on here in a second. And while we're waiting for them, I just wanted to tell everybody I just came back from this amazing trip for like over 2 weeks to Italy and Egypt, where I was chasing down all of our Atlantean roots, and it was just this mind-blowing, amazing experience. It started out in this place called Damanhur, Italy, which is a spiritual retreat of sorts, and it's a whole community there. And I went there to do some study and meditation, and then my group and I went with a Damanhurian historian and a Damanhurian Egyptologist, and we all went to Egypt, and we just had this tour de force all across Egypt for like 8 days. Let me see. Okay, here's Tim. Good morning, my man. Okay. Timmy? Kimmy?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Hey.
Let me turn up the volume a little bit. Hi, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you hear us? Oh, fine.
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
This is awesome.
I'm trying out this new mic right here, so I'm glad it's working.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming. It's so amazing.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. This is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm just on a high right now. I was just telling the audience, I just got back from this trip to Italy and Egypt for it was like over 2 weeks that we were there. It was just so eye-opening, so mind-blowing. I don't want to focus on that too much, but
We could talk
I did
about it.
want to say, like, whoa, everything is not as it seems. Classical archaeology, there's a whole other narrative of how old all that stuff is. And it appears that Egypt is like our best connection that we have in terms of physical evidence and energetic evidence of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we'll definitely be talking later and probably in a different live about that trip. But
Did you get in on any camel? Did you get on a camel? Ride a camel?
Oh yeah, did an amazing camel ride outside the Great Pyramid and got some amazing photos. That was actually Mila's favorite part was the camel ride. They're so cute, and they get down on the ground, and they let you get on them. They're so lovely. So yeah, it was super fun. We did the camel ride. That was pretty epic.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, so we just got back and just totally energetically, innervated and pumped and expanded. Big consciousness expansion. So that kind of dovetails into you guys because I want to talk about a lot of things and introduce you, but I wanted to tell the audience too that both of you, in your own ways, with your own amazing talents, have been helpful for me on my journey for expansion of consciousness. So I'm really excited to have you guys on here today. Really unique guests. What you guys are doing is super unique. I had never heard of any of this stuff before I had met either of you. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, I want you to introduce yourselves. So this is Kim and this is Tim, but I affectionately call them Timmy and Kimmy. And Timmy
make me feel like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I like it. I like
he's getting used to it. But yeah, tell the audience a little bit about yourselves, who you are, what you do. Let's just start out with that.
Go ahead, Mama.
So we're Timmy and Kimmy. And we own a business called TK Stretching, and we started it in May of 2016. And we started TK Stretching because we had a passion of fascial stretch therapy and how powerful, it's so simple, but yet it's so powerful of working with the fascia tissue and releasing the fascia tissue in our body. And for those who don't know what the fascia tissue is, it's our connective tissue. It looks like a giant spider web throughout our whole entire body. And it surrounds our muscles, our ligaments, our tendons, our joints, even our internal organs. And so I was doing fascial stretch therapy before I met Tim. And then Tim and I met, and he just fell in love with fascial stretch therapy as well. And I needed help in my business. And he was playing professional basketball at the time in Portugal. And he was done with his career. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I was done playing in 2015 when I met Kimberly. Luckily, she saved me from a bunch of lifelong injuries getting introduced to this work. So, yeah, I moved out to Arizona. I stopped playing in 2015, moved out to Arizona in 2016 with Kimberly, got certified in the work, and we kind of created TK Stretching later on in 2016, eventually moved to Austin in 2018. And we came here because of the opportunity that Austin provides. We knew that there was a lot of what we wanted here, primarily opportunity. So we've been doing it for a couple of years, been blessed to work with beautiful people, amazing folks, getting introduced to a lot of folks like yourself, like Mila, just some beautiful people doing some awesome stuff in the world. So yeah, this little stretching technique has given us a lot together. Being able to help a lot of people has been really cool, and it's just set up a beautiful life for Kimberly and I, and we'll see where it goes from here.
And
Yeah, it's so beautiful that you guys work
yeah,
together.
yeah, when we first met, and Tim was interested in the fascial stretch therapy, and he was done with his career in basketball, and I needed help in my career, and I'm like, well, I was thinking, and I kept hearing God say, you need to do this, and I'm like, okay, well, this can go really good, or this can go really bad. You don't know. And so we made that leap of faith, and we just joined each other in business, and we've never imagined to where it has led us. It's been an incredible journey so far.
Yeah, so let's talk about the technique a little bit. I don't think, people need to understand this is its own thing. This is something that, I've had a lot of stretchings done, different modalities done to me and different types of massage and different types of body work too. But fascial stretching is its own perspective, its own methodology. So for those of you out there, Kimmy mentioned really quickly about the myofascial system of the body. It's not just the tissues between the tissues, it's its own organ, so to speak. And there's a lot of water in it that's used for communication between cells. And also physiologically, there's neuropeptides that hold basically memories in the fascial tissue, and that's what we're going to get into in here in a little bit. But like the issues in the
Yeah.
tissues, right? We have emotions and memories and feelings that are held and locked into the tissues that you guys and explain how we use the stretching technique to work that out. And what's the deal with fascial stretching? Like, what does it look like and what is it doing?
So fascia stretching, it's jumped names a little bit. It started as fascial stretch therapy, turned into Frederick stretch therapy, and now it's just coined and trademarked as fascia stretch therapy. The creators of the work itself, Chris and Ann Frederick, located out in Arizona at Stretch to Win, they developed a beautiful system on taking the stretching world and just organizing a gold standard for the stretch community. Now, I think we get lost with, well, let's backtrack. Fascia, it's an assisted stretching technique that, helps you eliminate pain, tension, recovery from injury, prevention, a little bit preventative work. I'm not a big believer in we're never going to get injured or preventative stuff, but, it's a beautiful method to help you stay on top of your game and live in the best life that you can, pain-free. So this work, like you mentioned briefly, it stores a lot of our emotions, a lot of our past trauma, a lot of our past history, and we're not aware, we just aren't aware of that.
Right. So we're like, a lot of people are trying to do um, mental, emotional, spiritual work to expand themselves, to get over experiences that are limiting them and holding them back. And what you guys have helped me to understand, and also other people like Kelly Kennedy in the lymphatic therapy community, is that there's a physical component to all this that we need to address, that it appears more than anything is in the fascia.
Mhm.
And so like you guys, so I just want to give everybody a mental picture. When I came to you guys and you're like, okay, let's do fascial stretching, I basically laid on a massage table and was more or less passive. And Timmy starts like grabbing your limbs and pulling and stretching and moving and gently, but it's also intense in a way. You know, you're pushing joints and stuff to their limits, and you're being very, very, very careful, but very methodical and working through the body. It was like an hour-long session, usually is I
Right.
think
Yeah.
what it is,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's like everybody needs to try this out. Like if I was in Austin, I would be coming to you probably once a week, and I know you have some clients that come to you once a week. So um, yeah, what are people doing with this? Are they doing this routinely, and what kind of results are they getting? Oh, I just lost your audio. Oh, there you go. You're back.
We're good.
Oh, do you hear
Okay,
us?
so
Okay.
Sorry.
yeah, did you hear my question?
No.
No, say the
Oh,
question.
okay.
It just stopped.
So I was just explaining how what the experience looks like and feels like. Like it's an hour-long
Yeah. Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
You stretch us out and stuff. But could you explain, like for people who are coming to you, some of your clients are doing this regularly. What kind of results are they getting and seeing? And
Go ahead, Mona.
So we've seen tremendous results in a short amount of time with individuals, and I want to give a little demonstration of how fascial stretch therapy is different from regular stretching.
yeah.
So this is a perfect technique how different FST is from regular stretching. And I'm going to use my finger. So my finger, when we do regular stretching that we've been taught when we're little or in high school or whatever, this is how far it can go, right? I'm not getting the fascia tissue. I'm getting like the muscle. Okay. Now, with fascial stretch therapy, we traction, so we lift, and look much further I just went.
Whoa.
So what we're doing is we're getting the fascia tissue all in the joints, in the sockets. Yeah, you got to give it a try, Brian. So like if I go just this is regular stretching. This is how far I can go. But when you traction means you're lifting up and then stretch. That's how you get the fascia tissue.
It's almost tractioning from your joint capsule. So you're not just restricted joint on joint, bone on bone, perhaps. You're almost just calmly tractioning from the joint capsule to create some space so the body can move a little bit more freely.
And like when you can stretch, getting it through the joints and you're getting to the fascia tissue, that's where people start seeing huge progress. Like we have a couple of individuals who've come in with scoliosis and who have shrunk over the years. By just staying consistent with fascial stretch therapy, they started getting their height back.
Whoa. Wow.
Insane. And I had another client that he had surgery on his knee and he wasn't able to bend it past 90 degrees. All I did was just regular fascial stretch therapy. After the session, he was able to put his heel towards his butt.
Oh wow.
I think it's important also to mention that to not just get lost in the words of stretch therapy. It's the work. I'm sure we could tap into it a little bit, but the work starts to tell us a lot more of a story that's going on with somebody rather than just if somebody's goal was just to gain range of motion, feel better. Yes, we can do that. But what's cool with the work is the relationship that's developed between client and therapist, the story that starts to develop between client and therapist, the relationship between them. And it is great to increase range of motion, see where all these limbs could go and everything, but developing an awareness in our body through this technique is one of my favorite things about it. I think majority of the population sitting at a desk, not really in tune with their body. I think it's a very simple passive modality that could bring people back into their body, get awareness back into their body, see what feels right, see what feels wrong, see what's moving and not moving. And then providing a space where they can feel comfortable getting that feel without forcing that on them, right? So like you mentioned earlier, the movement is very passive. Sometimes it may feel a little extent. just because we haven't been there. Our nervous system hasn't felt that, our body, our tissues just haven't been in that space. So that's where the stretching may feel a little bit more intense, or maybe on a degree of a little bit of pain, but it's more just bringing awareness into somebody's body.
Getting back and getting them into their body. A lot of us are out here.
It's a beautiful method to put you back
like,
into your body and gain a lot of awareness within your body, within the time that we have with the client. It's really, really cool. It's also really amazing to me how quick a client is willing to open up with the story, because like we mentioned earlier, your life is stored in your nervous system, it's stored in your tissues, and the subtleness of this work allows somebody to start opening up and tell their story a little bit more on why their body is responding to us and responding to them the way that it is. I hope that makes sense.
yeah, I really appreciate the clarification. So in other words, the the increased range of motion, the increased flexibility is really a side effect. Really, what your guys' goal, what we're going for here, is to help people reconnect with self and remember the self and the feelings and stuff that come up, and we work through them. And I love what you said there also about how, like, you know, your nervous system, you have this like defense response sometimes when you put the limb in to a position that you're uncomfortable with or not used to it. What I learned with you guys is that it's not really that I don't that there's a range of motion limitation. It's more like a nervous system programming that's needs to be recalibrated to say, yeah, it's okay. We can go beyond that point that you were programmed to think you were that was your comfortable limit. We can actually go a lot farther. It's not like a mechanical limitation. It's absolutely just, so there's a more than anything here, we're doing nervous system reprogramming. And I love how accessible this is to everybody, because you just go in there and you're guiding, you know, you guys are guiding the client and all of it. And for me, I can also say, like, yeah, you get on the table and you start getting the stretching, and then without any invitation, all of a sudden I'm like talking about myself and all these things in my past. And,
Exactly.
that was really enlightening.
Yeah, we've had many of sessions. I've only known you for a short amount of time, and the stuff that you've shared with me and I've shared with you in just a short amount of time is just a little example of what's possible within the stretching. So the FST speaks a lot more than just this stretch technique, right? It helps people sleep better. It helps people, their sexual drive better. It helps people's appetite better. Their just overall mood becomes enhanced. So I don't want people just to get stuck in the word of fascial stretch therapy. It's me getting stretched out for 60 minutes and I'm going to turn into a pretzel and all that. We can do that, and that's all great. But the underlining stuff that comes with that is very powerful. It's very meaningful. And it's just great to share that in a session. You get a lot of healing out of a stretch. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And not to cut you off, Bri,
Go ahead.
I think it's important for people to know that you don't need to be a professional athlete. You don't need to be a desk jock. Like, we work with, you know, as young as 10-year-old to 65-year-old is our oldest person, right? So it's like, there's benefit there, not just because we do the work, but by the experience that these sessions have given us. There's benefit to everybody, right? It's very simple for me to say that, but just having experience working with people, and Kimberly could echo the same thing. There's benefit for a 10-year-old. There's benefit for a pro athlete. There's benefit for grandma and grandpa. And not every session is the exact same for every person. So I think that's important to know. And I think because we don't spend enough time stretching on our own or just tapping into our body alone, that we are nervous, we are scared, we are looking for limitations and pain when we do step into a session of stretching. It's like people haven't spent more than 5 minutes stretching, and all of a sudden it's, damn, I'm going to start stretching for 30 minutes, 60 minutes. A lot of people can be nervous about that. They don't know what to expect. So it's just it's a powerful modality that's very loving and inviting.
Yeah.
And very difficult to explain in terms of what you're going to get out of it until you experience the work. I can sit here and we can sit here and tell you this, that, and the other, but until people experience it, I think, of course, it's just pretty obvious that you'll get a firsthand reaction to it on how powerful it is.
Yeah, you do need to experience it. It's the same with the SaunaSpace products. Like we can
Yes.
talk all day long about this, how awesome it is, but it really is something that needs to be experienced. But for me, uh, it was an amazing experience.
Thank
So
you.
it's definitely, the name doesn't do it justice. It's much more like a restorative,
Mm.
full of mind, body, and spirit, like restorative enhancement experience. For me, it's every time I get out of there, I feel really centered and elevated. If I have fatigue or whatever, that's gone. But more than that, just the there's like a flow state that I get put in. Every time I'm done working with you guys, and it's always a level up. So it's never just a stretching session. It's always it's been one of the most helpful things for me in terms of things that I'm going out and doing with an external person that I can't quite do on my own. There's a guidance there that I get where I get out of it, and um, I feel I feel much further along on my spiritual journey, to remember self every time that I go with you guys. It's really like I highly recommend everybody try this out if you're in Austin. But even if you're not in Austin, I am actually not in Austin, and that's one of the most important things that if I ever go to Austin, I'm always making sure to stop by their place. And you guys do your work at this really cool like wellness center called Kuya,
Mhm.
where they have a lot of other cool stuff too. They have like their float tanks and all of their spa stuff. So it's just energetically, it's such a great place. It's so cool to see you guys working in there. Um, yeah, let's. I want to ask you guys about SaunaSpace and how you're using it. But before that, I would like to talk a little bit. I would like Kimmy to open up a little bit about some of the unique special stuff that you do that's really in alignment and harmonious with the fascial stretching approach. But I would say it's a little beyond it too. And this was the first time I met you guys. I don't think I did the stretching with Timmy actually the very first time. It was just Kimmy.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't want to prejudice the explanation. I'd like you to explain in your own words, like what is this other thing that you do too, in addition to the TK stretching?
Yeah. So this, I do a whole other modality. I call it spiritual guidance because what I do is I know it sounds really woo-woo, but it's so much bigger than what I am. And I just give God permission to work through me, and I really listen. I have these other abilities. I have sixth sensibility, so I can hear things, feel things. But what it really is really listening to the person's unconscious mind, their subconscious mind. And those for you who don't know what the subconscious is, it doesn't know the difference between time. Okay. And our subconscious is controlling about 95% of our life without us consciously being aware of it from all our programmings and beliefs and things that have been taught to
Yeah,
us.
and I would also add to this that my understanding from like a neuroscientific perspective is the subconscious can process like thousands of times more information in each second than the conscious mind. And
Yes.
so it's like you say, it's working all the time, but it's this thing that in modern life we've kind of forgotten about, got disconnected with, and yet it's just like this number one most powerful thing that we have as a tool. So back to you, like what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. So, so how
It's
I,
also, not to cut you off, it's also hard to see that, right? It's also hard to find that. It's also hard for those who aren't aware of it, we're never really taught the subconscious
Yeah,
mind. What is that? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like, it's hard to tap into that a little bit if you're never taught, if it's never spoken to you. So I think that's why it feels so outer space to a lot of people, because we were never spoken to about it.
and I'll give a good example so it will make more sense. Like how I look at the subconscious mind is I look at it as if it was fascia tissue. Our fascia tissue is what surrounds everything. Our muscles, our ligaments, our tendons, our joints. Without the fascia tissue, everything would fall apart. The fascia tissue is what holds everything together. And that's how I look at the subconscious mind. The subconscious, but on more on the the spiritual, mental realm, whatever you want to call it. But that's how I look at the subconscious mind. Without the subconscious mind, everything would just fall apart. But it's everything, and it controls so much of our life without us consciously being aware of it. And also, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between time. So whatever happened to us when we were younger that was never healed is still affecting us today without us consciously being aware of it. So I have this ability to communicate to the person's subconscious, and the subconscious knows you so well, it will know exactly what we need to address within that individual. Whatever it's a block that needs to be cleared, a trigger, a protective mechanism, it could be anything. And with the spiritual guidance, we just allow the body knows how to heal itself. We just got to talk to it. So,
So beautiful.
in simple terms, hard to explain, but it's more
well, yeah, but you're getting there. So it's essentially we have our most powerful tool that we have on Earth is our body,
yeah.
and the mechanisms of our body, and a part of that is our nervous system, and a part of that is the subconscious portion of our nervous system. So we have this unlimited tool that's like all knowing.
Yeah.
It has no sense of time and space. It knows everything about us in this lifetime and in other lifetimes, and we need to retrain ourselves to access it. And so someone like you who's like just so well versed and experienced in this, you can assist the client. You know, you can assist us in accessing this incredible tool and using it to I don't want to say fix what's broken, because none of us are broken. It's more like also the body has electromagnetism. You know, we have meridians, we have voltage gates, we have all these electromagnetic fields in the body, but they can become there can be dissonances and misalignments and charges that are switched over that compromise the optimal functioning of the electromagnetic systems in our bodies, in the micro and the macro. Yeah, and light, like we don't have enough light, you know, like we have all these light systems in our bodies too, like the mitochondria produce light. You know, we actually have an auric field that there's modern cameras that you can actually see a person's photonic field, and like as you get more ill, it becomes more incoherent. And so just like that with the subconscious, we want to bring things back into optimal coherence, because that results in us consciously, like, and energetically being our highest and best version of ourselves. So this subconscious work, it's really fascinating. I think it's really under addressed nowadays. But I wanted to say, like, I've had the experience I've had with you each time that I do subconscious work with you. I feel like I'm getting this accelerated neuro-emotional psychotherapy that, using classical methodology, you know, classical psychotherapy would maybe take a really long time, where you're really cutting to the chase and getting results and realignment, release of blocks and limitations in like half an hour or an hour.
Yeah. Where
before maybe it would take someone like years of talking, you know, to a psychiatrist. And we can't make medical claims here and all that, but what I think would be best for the audience is if you could walk us through like a theoretical example of like a subconscious thing, you know, so that we can understand what does this actually look like, and what's an example of a result we can maybe expect.
Yeah. So I'll just give a little example of how powerful it is, and I'll explain what sessions look like, but how powerful it is working with the subconscious mind. Growing up, I developed a lot of stomach issues, acne, thyroid dysfunction, all types of stuff. And I was doing everything physically to heal myself, but nothing was working, Brian, like nothing. And I was a personal trainer, holistic health coach. I was doing everything trying to heal my body. Nothing was working until I started learning from different modalities of how to work with the subconscious mind, how to release trapped emotions. And that's when I started really learning. I'm like, oh, there's so much more to our physical pain than we really realize. A majority of the time, trapped emotions. And so once I started learning how to do this, I started going back to younger ages of myself, working with them. And that's what a session looks like is when someone comes in, we stay curious of where in their life where they're feeling the light is absent. Whether it's like they're feeling physical pain in their body, where is the light absent in there, or in your career, marriage, relationships, money. It could be anything. Where is the light absent? Okay. And we stay curious as to why the light is absent in there. And that's when I start communicating with the subconscious, and the subconscious knows you so well. It's going to get us straight to the root cause of why the light is absent. What emotion is stagnant in there? Because we need motion. Motions are just energy in motion. And so we just need them to move. But if there's stagnant emotions in the body, it's going to cause some kind of dysfunction in the body. So we work a lot of bringing the light back into the body, or in other things like career, marriage, all that stuff. So it just depends. It depends on the individual, what they're coming in for. But after a session, you'll have so much more clarity, understanding. You have, it's more of like an aha, like, okay, this makes sense. Yeah.
Brian, hey, Brian, not to cut you off,
Go ahead.
but just to
Go ahead.
not to jump ship, but to kind of tie in the FST with the spiritual work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where we always go back to the same therapist for the same thing. And the more that we've been doing it, the more experiences that we've had, there seems to be a little bit more that's driving that blockage or that pain or that sensation or feeling in that specific area every single time. So it's been really cool to have the addition of what Kimberly is doing now with the stretch technique that we have, because again, just to if somebody's having issue doing the same thing in the same movement in the same pattern all the time, we would like to get a little bit deeper with that, and then we could kind of just bounce off of each other, like, hey, maybe we can look into this, maybe you can go see Kimberly and address certain things. So it's really cool how both of the modalities kind of intertwine with one another. And then just from my end, because I don't do what Kimberly does, and seeing it now from my perspective with a lot of the work, we're just emotionally driven humans, right? Everything is driven by an emotion. So if those emotions aren't in check, if your emotional system in your body isn't balanced and in check, the physical body is going to respond exactly how you're feeling, consciously or unconsciously aware of the emotions that's driving that. So I didn't want to go off track a little bit, but it's cool just how they intertwine with one another. And just doing the physical work, you could see how much of the emotional and all of the unseen world stuff really affects what's going on inside. So we got to kind of flip that, right? We got to go inside to outside rather than outside to inside.
And
No,
then,
it's a really important point. The two are complementary. When I go to you guys, it's not always the same order. Sometimes I'll get the stretching from Timmy, and then I'll do some work with Kimmy, and then I'll do it in the other way.
That's right.
Kimmy first, and then the stretching later with Timmy, and they're really complementary, and either preparing the body for some of the emotional, spiritual work, and then afterwards, after the emotional, spiritual work, working with the body to further move and like manifest the release of things. So, no, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, and also this idea that you mentioned, Kimmy, before. This aligns with this guy, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, talking about the health pyramid, that the emotional health is way higher. And he says that the energetic, the electromagnetic health is at the highest. But this idea that the pain that we have in the body is not physical at all. It's all entirely related to emotional trauma in the fascial system or in the subconscious that's being held onto, that you address the higher order emotional or energetic issue, and the pain goes away. And it goes away in a way that no matter how much you tried to change your diet and do all the physical stuff, you weren't getting much traction. But boom, you do a little bit of the energetic emotional work, and the physiological stuff comes afterwards. So it's very important to do sauna. It's very important to eat well. Like, I think it's very helpful for people who are really out of body, really disconnected, to start with the body first, and purify the body to get mental clarity, and then get to a space where you can start to do spiritual work. But at the same time, you know, just like with the with alchemy and with hermeticism, hermetic law, we need to remember that sometimes we can step into our divine self and there is no process. Forget about the physiological stuff and the doing all these therapies. Like, go straight to the emotions, straight to the subconscious, and we can resolve these things that have this huge domino effect on our health. It's very dramatic, and it's been so for me. I'm a person I've used my sauna, you know, like 4 or 5 days a week for 10 years, always eating really healthily, and I had some incredible breakthroughs, you know, just in a 1 hour session with you guys, 1 to 2 hours with both of you, that I can't recommend more of this idea that, or I can't recommend it enough, that the energetic and emotional stuff really can be addressed as a first thing too, and not like as a thing that maybe later you should do. So it's really at the same time that we're trying to do this stuff, like it's so important to address the energetic emotional stuff. You were going to say something, Kimmy.
Tim was going to say something.
Or Timmy was going to say
I think
something. Go ahead.
off, but I was just going to mention, like, one, thank you for allowing us just to speak on this stuff here, but it doesn't need to happen in 30 minutes. It doesn't need to happen in 60 minutes, right? It's like, it's a process of giving you more clarity that's going to just lead you towards where you want to get, whatever your goal is. If it happens in 60 minutes, that's awesome, pat on the back. But just to give somebody a little bit more clarity to lead them towards, you know, balance, towards health, towards safety, like, that's all great. I don't want people to have the expectations that things, you come and see us and things
Absolutely.
It gives you a lot of clarity.
Sort of left.
It gives you a lot of answers. It gives you direction to, one, continue to work on yourself, to continue to see what's triggering you. So it can lead to a healthier life.
And you top it with SaunaSpace. That's a game changer.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. So when I met you guys, you hadn't tried out SaunaSpace yet, but now you guys have a sauna, and
love it.
And you got the portable light. Can you tell the audience a little bit about how you maybe use the SaunaSpace products in conjunction with your work or on their own?
So we use the sauna probably 3 to 4 times out of the week, but what it does for me on the spiritual level, it's like when you step into the sauna, she has her own consciousness and she's so pure. Right when I turn the lights on, first time sitting in there, I'm like, whoa, there is something to this. Now it helps me understand you even on a deeper level, Brian, and with your passion with SaunaSpace, and it's very powerful in what it does for even our fascia tissue, our mind, our emotions. When you sit in that sauna, I just feel complete at peace. Like my mind, if I have worries, I'm all over the place, I'll sit in the sauna and I just feel like grounded. I feel centered. And to speak on the photon light, I had a little women's retreat 2 weeks ago.
Oh, amazing.
And the women
stole the party.
It literally stole the party. Women loved it. They're like, I don't know what it is about this light, but I feel so calm. I feel safe. I feel light. And when people can feel that light, and then you go stretch them, their nervous system is calmer. And then another good way is to get people to feel safe in their body, have the light shine on them a little bit. Then you go into the spiritual work. Then they'll feel safer to even go deeper.
I'll just put a little bit of humor on it, because I'll be honest, I really wasn't familiar with SaunaSpace prior to meeting you or using it, right? So I was like, Kimberly's a little bit more inviting. Yeah, let's do it.
But the husband's always more skeptical.
On the skeptical side, but I'm just I'm not going to dive in just like that. So I really appreciate seeing that side, being skeptical, and then just using it and seeing how powerful it is, how versatile it is, how easy it is, the benefit and the amount of time. Like, I think we're caught up in a world where we need to have a crazy expensive sauna and cold tub and all this stuff. I just love the versatility of it. I love that we can just move it wherever we want, simple to install, simple to take down. And then the benefits, I'll leave all the benefit talk up to you because you obviously are well versed in that, well more versed than all of us in it. But yeah, just something so simple, so calming, so easy, and so versatile. And so much cheaper than what is going on out there. And if I'm getting the amount of benefit that SaunaSpace is giving me, it's just it's a no-brainer just to go SaunaSpace for the bang for your buck, for the service that you're getting, for the benefit that you're receiving. It's pretty silly, yeah, not to go that route. And then the addition of adding the photon was just like, yeah, even more versatile. You could travel with that thing. You could bring it on a retreat. You could, sit in the bathroom. You could do whatever you want with it. So I love the versatility, and then just, of course, the benefit on top of that, how simple it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Game changer.
Yeah, it really is. It's all of those things, and yeah, the benefits are on the website. People understand light therapy and sauna benefits, but energetically, what you said, Kimmy, is something that I'm glad you brought it up. People need to understand how it's like when you're in the firelight, you're in this spectrum, that we deliver, and the loving intention behind it being handcrafted. And when you're using it reminds you and helps you remember that, we're beings of light. We're divinely created, and we have all this light inside of us. And so, like, for me, it's always so amazing when someone who has never seen it before just sits with the light on them, like the portable light on them, or in the sauna, how quickly they're just relaxed and centered and brought out of their hectic up and down emotions and the stress of it all. And it's in connecting them back to themselves, it just opens them up. And then they're ready for, maybe you're doing breath work or yoga, or maybe you're doing some of the work like what you're doing, some of the emotional, spiritual work you like. It's this like key that unlocks people and gets them ready for anything else. I'm just continually surprised at how quick and easy it is. And also on the other side, for the person, they're like, wow, what is happening right now? What is this? It's tremendous. So yeah, we have another a good friend of ours in Austin, Evan Britton and Kat, who they do retreats as well. And they just had a retreat where they had a number of photons around, and they did this like fireside chat thing, this fireside chat sharing thing. And they said it was just so helpful and lovely to help people kind of open up and connect and converse and connect with themselves and connect with each other. And that's like the non-classical use. People use the portable light classically for target relief. You point it on a part of the body to get symptom relief. But this energetic use and this calming, like mood enhancement use is I think just as powerful. Maybe even more, because we need that. We're so, our physiology and our physical health is so out of whack nowadays in the modern in the West, because ultimately, like you said, our energetic and emotional health is just totally unaddressed nowadays. So that's so beautiful what you said. Thank you for that.
You feel that as soon as the box gets delivered, though, to your house. As soon as you're unwrapping it, you feel packages in the mail from Amazon, whatever. You like, I'll just open this up, throw it out, whatever. When you open the SaunaSpace, you feel it. When you're assembling it, you feel it.
There's an energy to it.
The way you guys packaged everything, the specifications of everything on how you handle it, what you see when you open a box and how you feel when you open the box, a little different than everything else. I wanted to ask you though, and I didn't want to forget, I don't use the photon in any of our sessions just because I would probably be a sweaty mess. So my question to you would be, what is the distance, the radius of how can I use that in a room without providing a lot of heat in that room?
Yeah,
I would only worry about just sweating out people, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good practical question. So the targeted use is pretty close. It's like 1 to 3.5 feet or so on the body, if we're going to use it that way. But energetically, for like stress reduction, mood enhancement, and creating a vibe in a room, it really just needs to be in the room. especially when it's something that someone has experienced once, it's almost like a homeopathic effect where it's just in the room, it's not even at a therapeutic distance, and it's still energetically influencing and reminding the person, hey, that, oh yeah, this is how I feel next to the firelight. This is how I feel next to the bonfire. So when practitioners are using it for as an adjunct therapy, to add on to whatever else they're doing, like for you, the stretching, it doesn't even need to be pointed at the client. It can just be on a table nearby. And you can point it at the client. It could be 6, 8 feet away, or you can have it nearby and just pointing on its back and just pointing up. So it's shining the light in the room, and it'll get the effect that you want. So it doesn't have to be up close and personal and be too intense or too stimulating, especially for like an hour long session. You just kind of have it in the room, have it as a companion, and you'll figure it out. And yeah, you just want to have it on all the time, because another thing it's good for is it cancels out blue light and flickering light effects from LEDs, which most places have that nowadays. So if you want to create a space that's like a healing space, that's an energetically clean space, this is a way, without having to modify the space, you can really upgrade the light environment and make it more optimal and more human aligned, whatever you're doing.
Awesome.
And that's what we did I did at the retreat. I just had it on all day, but everyone gravitated towards it. And like when we turned it off, we were like, "Aw!" But then we turned it back on, and you could just feel this light from it.
Wow, amazing. So yeah, we don't have a lot of time left, so I want to get back to like you guys and a couple other things. So can you expand on that a little bit? So you guys you do the TK stretching and the guidance therapy sort of by appointment at Kuya and maybe other places, but it sounds like you also do retreats. Like, what else do you do in addition to what I've experienced?
So we do the fascial stretch therapy. That's we do it at Kuya. Tim also goes remote, so he goes to people's homes a lot of the times. And then the spiritual guide, I do it at Kuya and also at Alive and Well in BK. Then I also do another service called Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy, where we do past life regression, if you really want to go into that side.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's super fun. And then I just started doing retreats the end of last year, and I am still dabbling into it. It's been a huge blast. I handpick the women who've put in the healing, who've put in the work, and I dedicate a retreat for this small group of women to celebrate them and the inner work that they have done. Because a lot of times, doing inner work it's not fun. No one wants to do it. It's not easy. We resist it. And so I started putting off these retreats just to really celebrate these women who have put in the work and who have grown and who have evolved and haven't been afraid to face their inner self. So just started doing the retreats. I've done 2. They've been awesome. So there's gonna be more probably coming.
Okay, amazing. So you have to be pre-qualified, but you are doing retreats. So first do some work with you directly,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
work.
And also is this the things that you guys do? I know, Tim, you travel a little bit to offer your stretching to clients. As far as what you do, Kimmy, is this something that you only offer in person in Austin, or is there remote options for people online? Or
great question. On our website, you'll see all the how to book for either fascial therapy or spiritual guidance. Spiritual guidance works just as good virtually and in person. They're both the same. Sometimes virtually kind of works a little better because the person is in the comfort of their home. It's safer. So virtually, like a client first starting out is always great because they feel safe in their home, they feel comfortable, and then they see me in person, they're like, whoa, this is a game changer. But I could do virtually or in person. They both work just as good.
okay. And this is this all ages? Does this include like kids too, or is this just adults?
Before you get your child to sign up, I always want to work with the parent because child is failing is actually what the parent needs to work on.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But if the parent has done the work and everything, Then I recommend children to book with Autumn. Autumn is on our website. She is incredible with kids. She communicates with them so well. She's on the spiritual guidance page. She's the to go to when it comes to children. She is awesome.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so what is the website?
tkstretching.com.
Okay, tkstretching.com, and you have everything in there, sort of some talking points about all the stuff that we talked about today.
Yes, you
and
can
how
even
to get
find
in
some of
contact with us.
Kimberly's recipes and nice desserts, healthy treats, and
Oh yeah,
all of Kimmy's kitchens in there too.
I forgot. I have that on the website too.
Oh wow,
That's a
amazing. Oh yeah, so I want to remind everybody, you guys, are affiliates of SaunaSpace, and you guys have a 10% discount code. It's TK Stretching.
Yeah, all capital.
good.
TK
Yeah,
Stretching.
so everybody's welcome, who watches this, to use the code TK Stretching for 10% off.
Yeah.
And also, we kind of wanted to finish with one question. So for whoever is watching this, what is one thing, idea, or thought you'd like to leave them with? So
Believe in your.
this is a question for Timmy and Kimmy. Like, one question, idea, or thought that you'd like to leave for everybody who's watching this, because we're going to post this on our IG afterwards for people to watch after the live as well.
You, baby. You'll start.
Like a question to ask.
Yeah, I would say explore your body without any expectations. And then I heard something from Dave Ramsey that really stood out was try to be a little bit more of a leader than a boss. And a boss pushes a lot of people away, and leaders pull a lot of people. So try to be a little bit more of a leader, less of a boss, and never be afraid to work on yourself. I think the world is really, really showing us that right now, male, female, tough guy, not tough guy, whatever it is. I think it's really important for us to now get in touch with our emotions, our real self, and drop all the expectations, and don't be afraid to work on yourself.
And I would finish off to believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe
Simple
in
and powerful.
yourself. You'll notice your body start changing mentally, physically, and emotionally once you start believing in yourself. Your fascia tissue will start moving. Your body symptoms will start going away. Like, believe in yourself. You're the greatest gift to this world is to be yourself. We need you as you.
Wow, thank you guys so much. Such amazing advice.
This is awesome.
Appreciate you, bro.
Mila told me to ask you guys about Arizona real quick.
Putting us on.
Are we going to Sedona?
We need to go to Sedona in October.
Mila, it will happen.
We do need to.
Happen eventually.
Tell her,
Wow, thank you so much. Go ahead.
tell her I'll message her.
Amazing. No, really, thank you, my Starlight pet. So she says, beautiful people inside and out, a gift to this world. This is so true, so amazing. You guys are just so precious. This has definitely been one of the funnest lives. This work that you guys are doing is so unique and so effective and so safe and so accessible. Like, everybody needs to know more about this stuff. So I'm so grateful that you guys came on, educated us so much on all these things. Like, wow, mind blown.
Yeah, appreciate it, Brian. Thank you for giving us a little bit of time, a little bit of space. If anybody wants, we spoke briefly on it today, but if anybody wants, a lot of information is on our site at TK Stretching, IG at TK Stretching. If anybody could feel free to just reach out to us. We're pretty easy in the response. So again, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for just this little bit of time that we got to speak to one another. And hopefully we see each other pretty soon.
Yeah. And thank you for creating.
And thank you for SaunaSpace.
You're most welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody, tkstretching.com, and on IG, TK Stretching. So we're going to send you a collab post so you guys can post as well on this afterwards. Thank you again.
Sounds
good.
good.
You too. Love you both.
Love you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Bye.